Hi, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me for this Live with the Animals video series. So this series was born out of what was happening here in the United States in March of 2020. You know, coronavirus became very forefront in everybody's awareness. Lockdown orders, shelter-in-place orders, different kinds of quarantine measures were being put in place here. And I really became curious what the animals thought about all of this, both the inside and outside animals. And so I just started talking with the animals in this video series, and they've continued to encourage me to keep talking to the animals. So that's what we're doing. And so today we have a special guest. Let me pull his picture up. This is a ram named Worf. Now he is a deceased ram. You can see there's a little goat standing on top of him here, and I think over here in the background there's another little goat. And so Worf lived at one of the ranches that I visit sometimes, and I don't remember actually meeting him. I didn't really go in with the sheep very often. But he passed away, it was either the end of July or the beginning of August, and he was only about 2.5 years old. And he helped take care of some of the baby goats too here. And so we're gonna just tune in with him, see what he has to share with us today. And just, yeah, see what Worf would like to share with us. I'm told he's named after the Star Trek character, Worf. I'm not super familiar with Star Trek, but maybe some of you can relate. All right, so I'm just gonna get quiet and start tuning in. And if you're joining me live and you have questions for Worf, if you're on Zoom, there should be a button on the bottom there that says chat. Just click on that, type in your questions. If you're on Facebook, just type your questions into the comment section. Just getting quiet, tuning into Worf. So what I feel come forward first is sort of this kind of grandfatherly energy. It's almost like his age and the energy he's putting forward, really, they don't match. He was only 2.5 here when he passed away. Hi, Worf. I wonder if the grandfatherly thing is more like how you felt about the other animals who were at the ranch there with you. Yeah, he's showing like that his presence, that his time there really was about a grandfatherly kind of energy or figure. He felt really responsible for holding, like there's an energetic holding he's showing of the other animals, especially the young ones, he says. Yeah, there's this kind of sense of, it's like a combination of pride and mission when the new babies were born on the ranch. Was it just about the goat babies or other babies too? Well, he's saying 4-legged babies. Okay. Yeah, he said the goats were the most prominent, of course. Well, I think do you remember Chip, Worf? You know, we talked to Chip, our future therapy goat, in another session, and that might be him on your back, but I think the one in the background is actually maybe Chip. But Chip's human wanted to express her thanks for all the help that you gave to the baby animals on the ranch. He says it's really, it feels good, like he shows his heart kind of get bigger and expand a bit. It's like it feels good in my heart to hear that. That was really a big part of why I came in to this ranch in particular was to help with those animals. Is there more you want to tell us about your mission or what you were doing there at the ranch? Hmm. Okay, so I'm getting a mix of things. Worf, could you just show me maybe one of those things? So again, he's showing the taking care of the babies part. Um, was there something else? So on this ranch, there were animals and sheep and lambs that are being raised for meat, and so he says it's different holding space for animals that know that they're going to be eaten. He says so. I was holding them in a different kind of way. Okay. Do you want to tell us more about that, Worf? Sometimes it's hard when you know that you're a meat animal to feel cared and taken care of in the same way like than the goats. You're showing like, oh, the goats are cute and they do all these cute things, and so they get attention in a different way than the meat animals, the lamb, the sheep that they raise for meat there. Do you feel like the meat animals don't get the same kind of loving attention, or what specifically do you feel like is different? Yeah, the perception, I feel like the perception of us is different. Do you mean different in a bad way? No, he's well, it's not judgment either way, but he says I feel like sometimes that humans distance themselves from the animals that they know will be meat animals. They distance themselves emotionally, energetically, in a different way than like when they do with the goats. Like none of the goats that I'm aware of at this ranch are raised for meat animals. Um, and Worf is showing there's kind of this just distance, emotional distance that the humans kind of keep from the meat animals. Do you feel like that's particular to this ranch where you were, or is that kind of an overall thing? I do feel it as an overall thing. Like I feel like Worf is showing me cattle and other kinds of animals that are raised for meat, and he says, I do feel like humans distance themselves from it in a different way. And it's even different from how they distance themselves from plants. Like plants, they're alive, but they're alive in a different way than animals are alive. Like plants don't have the same nervous system that causes emotions in the same way that animals do. And therefore, like humans are more comfortable um, killing a plant to eat it. I mean, he's saying essentially when you take a plant to eat it, you're killing the plant. But in the same way, it doesn't feel the same. And Worf is saying he feels like that has to do with the difference in the nervous systems between a human and a plant. There isn't this kind of resonance that can happen. Whereas with mammals that are raised for meat, um, humans don't want to feel that in their nervous systems necessarily. So Worf is reminding me of the conversation that we had with the bison. I think it was last week, and showing how, like in Native American cultures and probably plenty of other Native or Aboriginal kind of cultures, there was a real connection to the living animal that died, that was killed in order to feed the tribe or the group of people. There was a big reverence there, and there was a connection. Humans allowed their nervous systems to resonate in a way with the animals that is not present in today's meat industry. Showing how today's meat industry is so separated from humans, so most of us don't have to see what the animals actually go through to become meat. And and Worf is saying, I feel like that attitude has kind of passed down into the ranches and the different farms and stuff that raise the animals. There isn't the same kind of connection between the animals that there was in more of a hunting kind of scenario, or much older traditional kind of ways. Do you feel like that that distance is helpful or harmful to the whole process? How do you feel about that work? Well, I really understand, I guess, why people do it. He says it's uncomfortable to watch an animal die. Um, yeah, that he just sees. I understand why people do this. Um, there is some wish for him within Worf. He's showing there is a wish for. He's showing again what the Bison was showing us last week, where like praying over the food. Well, he's, Worf is kind of showing, and the Bison was showing, like when a bison was taken down by a tribe or something, that they would pray there, right there, over, like right after the killing. And Worf is saying, okay, that might not be possible because of the separation, but there is a desire, Worf is saying, in the animals in general who know they are meat, who know, it's like, it's not like they don't know, that's why they're here, like they know. But there is I feel it almost like a request in the heart of asking some level of respect or honor. And Worf is, showing that could be, plenty of, like, Christians or other religions, they'll actually pray over their food before they eat it. He's showing there could be just taking a moment of silence and offering up a thanks for the animals and the plants who came to be in front of you. Worf is reminding us that, plants were and sometimes are still alive when we eat them. So there is he's showing it as like this sparkliness around the food, like bringing honor to, or bringing what's the word? It kind of respecting that this was everything on the plate was at one time alive, and there is energy and prana and life force that moves through this food, that comes into you and allows you to be full of life force as well. He's like, yeah, I'm not necessarily preaching for, like, stop eating meat. He's like, if people want to stop eating meat, that's great. It does help the environment, but it's like, there's a way of honoring these cycles of life and death that Worf feels like are much more potent than just becoming a vegan or things like that. He's like, it has a lot more to do with conscious awareness. So he's showing, like, it's like, I'm not promoting a vegan lifestyle at all. Like, I understand that I was here as a meat animal, and that was part of it. It's just asking for honoring of the cycles, and to have this conscious awareness of, like, don't just get up and eat your meals like, okay, I always have my bacon and eggs in the morning, and then I have my turkey sandwich, and then I have my spaghetti and meatballs. Like, there's a way of kind of, Worf is really encouraging us as individuals to tune into our bodies and feel like, how do we actually feel after we eat a meal? maybe how do you really feel after you eat a vegetarian meal, like energetically, physically. There's a lot more. Worf, gosh, she's starting to go really fast. He's saying we have become so disconnected from our food system that we're not even really aware a lot of times of how energetically food affects us. Like we're kind of zombies or wearing blinders, and like we just eat out of habit, and there's not a lot of conscious awareness in a lot of people. And he really encourages us to eat with a lot more awareness. Thank you, Worf. All right, I'm going to take a moment and check for any questions you might have for our buddy Worf here. All right, I'm not seeing any come up. So, Worf, I know you passed away quite young. I know there was some question from people out at the ranch, like, was it your plan to leave so early, or did something happen? It seemed like it was quite sudden that you passed away. Can you tell us more about that? It was time for me to go, he says. Um, he shows himself looking towards the sky, and like his spirit kind of, it's almost like it's coming out through his nose. He's showing me like lifting his head up towards the sky and showing how this nose section of his face is kind of like an extended third eye. And so it was his aspiration to leave through that way. He says, I've come through a lot of spiritual evolution. He says, I have been, he's like, I don't want to like put myself above other animals or anything, but I have gone through a lot of spiritual processes, and there was something I was holding spiritually for some of the animals here at the ranch. What was it that time came to an end, or? So he is showing something. There was something special about this particular round of goats that was born. I think it was like March, around the end of March. Yeah, these particular baby goats that came in right now were quite special, and I was holding something for them. So he's showing particularly Sparkles, the goat, which we've talked to before, and also Chip, the therapy goat. Like he's showing these are special goats. They're bringing something more forward, and I was holding space for them. It's kind of what he's showing. So Worf, am I understanding you correctly that it was your plan to leave after at this young age? That was your plan? Yeah, he's like, I kind of think of myself more of like an angel goat, or not goat, ram. It was more like I was, okay, so now he's showing me some people who I consider angel people who like just came in my life for a very brief amount of time and like showered gifts on me. And then they were gone, and I've never seen them again. He's kind of showing himself in the same way, where I had a big spiritual presence and something to really hold, and I came and I gave what I needed to give, and I left. Yeah, there's this sense of really drawing out and pulling up, and yeah, okay. Well, that answers that question. I wonder, do you have plans for your next life, or where are you right now? So he's showing me this sort of like alchemical thing that's happening. Like I see this gold sphere that's kind of, there's all this energy moving inside of it, and it's kind of pulling and moving. It's almost like it's starting to form a more solid, like the sphere itself as I see it now is not solid, but he's showing it's starting to become more solid. It's like I'm getting ready to come into another incarnation. Do you have something specific in mind, or like someplace specific that you're going yet? It's like I'm not able to really articulate all of it now. It's all sort of in the um, swirling mess that's sort of, he's kind of showing it like a planet coming into being, going through its different gaseous stages and forming land, and then the animals coming out from the sea. Like he's showing it as this, I don't know, Big Bang theory that's starting to come together of the next animal incarnation that he's going to be. So it seems like maybe there's nothing that's 100% certain at this moment, or says, well, I do anticipate being a livestock kind of animal again. He keeps showing me a cow for some reason, but it's almost like going between a cow and a ram, or a lamb or a sheep, um, as if it's not 100% certain yet, but he is saying livestock animal. All right, thank you so much, Worf. I wonder, I see we're coming towards the end of our time here together today. I wonder if there's anything else you might like to share with us today, or anything you really want our viewers to know or understand. Nope, I feel like I've said it all. I don't have any extraneous information to add. I feel like what I said about the meat animals was really important. So humans, if you didn't get it, rewind the video and watch that part again. That's what Worf says. Okay, thank you so much, Worf. Yeah. Always interesting to hear what our animals friends have to share with us. So thanks so much to all of our viewers for joining me here today. It's always a pleasure to chat with my animal friends and relay their wisdom to you. I hope you'll join us again sometime, and until next time, take care and be well.